Today we're going to be highlighting, again, another great player in Paul George, whose career just got a little bit more exciting. So sit back and enjoy the video. This is Charles. I want to welcome you to Dreamers Pro. Let's get into the content. Let's go. So today we're going to be talking about my man, Paul George. Now, for those of you who don't know, Paul George was originally drafted by the Indiana Pacers a number of years ago, and he played in Indiana for quite some time. He had a lot of playoff experience, but he ended up losing quite a bit to the Miami Heat back when they had LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh in their big three. Then he went through a period where it was just him, and he was trying to carry the team. But then he quickly realized that that wasn't really what he wanted to do, that he actually needed some help. So it turned out that Paul George is from LA, and he wanted to go play for the Lakers, and everybody had him pegged just like 2 years ago that he was going to go play with LA. He was going to go play with LA. What ended up happening was he ended up actually signing with OKC. He went there for a year and then stayed. He liked playing with Russell Westbrook. He liked the way things, him and the guy got along, and he even signed an extension with them. And that's what he was playing with. Now, last season they had a first-round exit, and it didn't look really good, for a player of his caliber, who was actually an MVP candidate. And at one point in the season, this dude was putting up some video game numbers, some 40-point games here, 47-point games there, steals, playing defense and all of this stuff. But it wasn't really translating into the success that he needed to have. And just now, before you know it, now he demanded a trade, and now he's a Clipper. Now he's going to be playing with Kawhi Leonard. But I want to highlight Paul George and his skill set and what makes him such a great basketball player. First things first, shooting. Paul George he can flat out shoot the ball. If you watch a lot of videos on him, especially watch him during when he did the Team USA practices, when he practices against people like Kevin Durant and other NBA players, this dude can really, really shoot. He can shoot the long ball, he can shoot the mid-range, and he's very elusive the way he plays. He kind of plays at his own pace, sort of like Kawhi Leonard, but he's also really quick. He's not as fast as maybe LeBron James, but he's quick. And he has great leaping abilities. But the first thing is he can really shoot the ball. He can shoot it from far, he can shoot it from the mid-range, he can shoot it from the post, fadeaways, all of that stuff, so he has that. The next thing is he's a really good slasher. Paul George, because he's 6'8", so he's able to take these like giant Euro steps as he goes to the lane and really finish over contact with contact. And he's also really good at getting and-one plays and really completing a lot of these acrobatic finishes that you see a lot of great players are able to do. He has a very slinky body. He's not too rigid with the way he plays. So that's another facet to his game. The next thing is he's a really, really, really good defender. Now, he's a good on-the-ball defender and off-the-ball defender. Now, on-the-ball defender basically means that this guy can guard. He can play you man-to-man. He can guard the guy in front of him, and he can stay in front of him because of his lateral quickness, so he can do that. But he's also good at playing the passing lanes, and that's how he gets a lot of deflections and steals. I think last season he averaged like 2 steals a game, which is really, really high, to average throughout the season. So he's really, really good on defense. So you can see that he's a really good two-way player. The only thing that was sort of eluding him was him being able to elevate his teammates to take the next step. And that's the thing that really escapes Paul George thus far in his career, but I don't think it's going to be like that forever, because everyone has an arc. Everyone has a story. It's not like as if you're going to be at the same position that you are forever. And I believe that that's going to change for him moving forward. Now, what are we to expect with him now pairing up with another beast in Kawhi Leonard? Who knows? It's going to be really, really interesting. I don't know. Both of them are going to average 25, 27 points a game. Who knows? But I think his skill set can work well with Kawhi Leonard because he's also a good catch and shooter. He can catch the ball and shoot it. Some people don't have that ability, and some people do. Klay Thompson does, but Klay Thompson is not really good at actually creating his own shot, although he can. And as you saw in the finals, he was able to do that a number of times against players like Kyle Lowry. But Paul George has that ability. he's a good catch and shooter, and he can get hot from anywhere on the floor because he can shoot the 3-ball and he can really extend the defense. The next thing is he's a great free throw shooter. He shoots above 85% from the free throw line, and he's a good crunch time player. I think what Paul George needs is another guy that he can trust in, but that's also been to the promised land and has actually been to where he's trying to get to. And I think that's what's going to happen when he plays with Kawhi Leonard. He's going to have the confidence in this dude to say, because they're going to get to points that Paul George in the playoffs hasn't seen, and Kawhi Leonard is going to be able to calm him down, and he'll be like, hey man, look, this is how it's going to play out. This is what to expect. You know, don't let this get to your nerves and all of this stuff. And I think it's going to be a really great pairing between the two of them. But I wanted to highlight a really, really, really great basketball player in Paul George. He's one of the top 10 basketball players of all time. And the funniest thing is that, the thing that really propels players forward into these all-time lists is just winning championships. Paul George starts winning championships, we're looking at him in a completely different light. And that's the reality of it. He's a great player, but no one is really putting him in that level yet because he hasn't won. It's the same thing with James Harden. James Harden is an out-of-this-world player, but he doesn't have any championships. So I think winning championships is what's really going to make people really recognize just how good of a basketball player Paul George is. But for me, he's definitely one of the top 10 basketball players in the world today. So if you guys don't really follow him, I suggest that you check out a lot of his videos, check out his highlights, and because as a basketball fan, I think we can appreciate different type of basketball players, so it's good to just check him out. If you're a Paul George fan, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below, and let us know what you thought about the content. I like to get into a conversation with you guys. I really enjoy it, and I want to thank you for all the support that you've been giving us thus far. With that being said, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro, wishing you guys a great day. Peace.